Hey everybody, this is Joel Pitney. This is the If I'm Being Honest podcast. Today's guest is Steve Sarner.
Hey, Joel.
And today we're going to be talking about an area of expertise that Steve has, which is how to use digital marketing of all kind to start selling books, and a lot of questions around all that. Um, I met Steve at a conference recently. I believe it was at Author Nation in Las Vegas, where
Yep.
he was there representing his company, where he's the director of author success. It's a company called Shelf Life.
hmm
He before that he worked in Amazon's books department, and he was one of the founders of Goodreads. So Steve's a longtime industry veteran, and he has a lot to share. So I'm excited to have you on the show, Steve.
Joel, it's great to be here. I really enjoyed meeting you at Author Nation and learning about your firm. And I'm delighted to be here to chat a little bit about what we do at Shelf Life and just kind of talk about the industry in general and how we can help authors with their author journey.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
before diving in, I just want to remind everybody if you enjoy the podcast, you find this information useful, please leave us a review and subscribe to us on whatever podcast or platform that you're engaging with us. It helps us find more people who need the useful information that we're trying to share here. So, Steve, so I think maybe we'll start off. I want to talk a little bit about what do you do now? What does Shelf Life do? What do you do for authors?
Yeah, sure. So Shelf Life is core business is managing Amazon advertising campaigns for authors. That's where we got our start 7 years ago. That's where I met Alex Strathed, our CEO and founder, when I was at Goodreads. We're in a book marketing panel together, speaking similar in a situation like this, an educational event. And I was representing Goodreads and what Goodreads could do for authors. And I was listening to Alex talk, and I was like going, he knows more about Amazon ads than most people at Amazon. I should get to know this guy.
Yeah.
So we became professional friends. And when I left Amazon in 23, I joined Alex, and we've been growing the agency ever since. Um, our agency's really kind of focused on, has been focused on nonfiction authors over the last 7 years and helping them market their books and manage their campaigns on Amazon. We've expanded into some other areas, but that's still our core business and foundation. We're also helping some fiction authors these days as well, so we're excited to be in the fiction business too. But, the majority of our business is nonfiction authors. The majority of our authors are basically using their book primarily to support their other business lines, whether it's speaking, brand awareness building, consulting, online courses. They look to us to really help them market the book, to find the ideal readers, the right readers that help them accelerate their other business lines in at the most cost efficient way possible with Amazon ads.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's great. And I have a lot of questions I want to ask you about that later. I
absolutely.
thought maybe we could start with a little 101. And, for
Yeah.
anybody out there who already knows all this, forgive us. But um, one of the first questions I get when people talk to me about us helping them publish their book or do promotions are, what about Amazon ads? What about Amazon ads? I read I
Yep.
should do Amazon ads. I've tried Amazon ads. I took a course on Amazon ads. I read a book about Amazon ads. What about Amazon ads? So, just to kind of start, what are Amazon ads? And yeah.
Yeah, so Amazon ads, Amazon kind of invented retail media, as they call it. It's ads in on the site with Amazon. It's like think about like point to purchase ads when you go into a bookstore. Same type of concept, only online. There's three primary types of ads that relate to books. That's sponsored products, which is basically the book cover that you see in a carousel usually as you're browsing any book on Amazon. Then there's brand display and product display ads as well, which offer some video opportunities and things of that nature. But really, the primary workhorse of Amazon ads is sponsored product ads on Amazon. And one of the key things on Amazon ads, for those who are familiar with Google and Facebook, they're similar in nature because they are a dynamic auction for pay per click, meaning you do not
Okay.
pay for Amazon to show your book as an impression. You only pay if somebody clicks on your book and goes to your book detail page to consider purchasing it. And those clicks can range anywhere from a low of 20 cents to 75 cents to $1 to $2 or more. It's all dynamic auctioned, all on demand. And that's one of the key components of effectively managing Amazon ad campaigns is making sure you're optimizing what you're bidding for all kinds of different reasons to help sell and move your book and get it and also get it displayed in the first place.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so So, when Amazon ads, when you're looking at those, it's basically it's a way for you as the owner of a publishing account for a book
Right.
to actively promote your ads to targeted readers based on their keyword searches within Amazon's search engine
Right.
or at in relationship to related products or other books. And
Exactly.
you're bidding how much money you're willing to spend to get a click from a search result or on a related product.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not demo targeted. It is targeted. It's intent targeted, as I call it. Somebody
Not so
who's
you're not sorting by demographic. You're not like
right,
looking for men between the age of 42 and 78 who
right.
have a household income of $150,000 or more.
Exactly.
You're focusing on what they actually want to do or what they like.
Yeah, what they're searching for, what kind of book they're searching for, what subject, what problem they're trying to solve, or maybe they know they want to read a book on finance or on business from a certain author or title, and then you want to align your book with that author or title, a comparable title or competitive title or author, so that your book shows up on that page too. So
Hmm.
those are the things that you're targeting and working to get your book appearing on in those search terms and those comparable product pages.
That's interesting. Uh, so to me, when you just hear it that way, it's like, oh, sign me up. Let's do this,
Right.
right? Sign me up. I want to be in search results for related keywords. I want to be in related books, but it's not that simple, right? I mean, my company, we've experimented with Amazon ads. We've worked with other companies like yours. It is very difficult to figure out how to do it in a way where you are earning as much money from your ad campaigns as you are spending on them.
Yeah, that's a huge challenge. We have well over 100 authors we work with today, Joel,
Yep.
and only about 25% of them are we able to realize break even or positive return on their ad spend. And those
And
are
you guys are really good at what you do.
Yeah, and those are pretty established authors too. So they've
Yep.
got a lot going for them more than just the ad campaigns. 75%, the vast majority are actually losing money on their Amazon ads, but they are selling more books and they don't see it so much as losing money as the fact that they're getting their book out to more readers. It lifts their overall sales too. There's more than just the ads. The ads can help, you know, motivate and signal the Amazon algorithm and flywheel so your book becomes recommended more organically as well. So overall sales can lift. And most importantly, for that 75% of our authors, their goals driving other business goals in addition to just selling books.
Right. Well,
Hmm.
it's interesting, Steve, that it was on that point. I actually felt quite relieved the first time you and I spoke because,
Yeah.
again, like I've said, we've worked on Amazon ads for years. I mean, almost, probably 7 or 8 years we've been trying to do Amazon ads. We've done it in-house, we've partnered with people, and we were probably getting results that were around what you were getting, which
Hmm.
is we almost never broke even. So
Right.
we might spend $100 in a week to promote the book, and that would result in $80 worth of our royalty percentage after the bookseller takes it out.
That's
And
yeah, that's
that would
pretty
be
good
great.
getting the royalty. Yeah, I
I'm
was going to say gross sales at 80 would be good
and
for a
I'm
lot of
just
books.
I'm
Yeah.
just spitballing here. Those aren't real numbers.
Sure.
And but when I talked to you, you explained, hey, even us who are really
Hmm.
good at what we do, um, we're getting numbers that look like that on the surface sound quite depressing. Like, why on earth would I just pour money down this hole?
Hmm.
But like you said, the the Amazon ads game is not about that first sale. It's about everything else that happens after that.
Exactly. Exactly. So.
Right. So let's go. I mean, you talked about a few of those things. Um, Talk a little bit more about the monetizing beyond the sale of that first book. How are you seeing authors do that?
Yeah, so I would say that as I break up our portfolio of clients, there's a good percentage who are just, professional speakers. Um, we have we have authors who are expert in their field, and one of their key goals for us is one of the fun goals they have on this is they don't care whether we sell one book a month for them or 1,000 books a month. All they want is to be in the top three, if not number one, in a certain Amazon category. As you know,
Interesting.
there's thousands of Amazon subcategories, many of which you don't have to sell that many books to be up in the top ranking for them.
Hmm.
And some of these specialists, be it in medicine or law or certain areas of expertise in accounting and things of that nature, they base their speaking proposals on the fact that they're the number one author, or at least in the top five, but typically the number one author in a certain subcategory on Amazon. And that's their goal. They say, we can, using third-party software and our own data, we can determine about how many books you're going to need to sell to, be in that number one spot in that subcategory. And we basically manage our campaigns and formulate them around the fact of selling enough books to make that happen for them. So they then can point to the fact when they're speaking proposals that they are a best-selling author in this particular area of expertise.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that's super interesting. I love that. So there's a big brand bump you get from having a certain sales rank on Amazon, and that
Right.
brand bump can benefit you in other ways. What are some other ways that you see people monetizing a sale beyond the royalties they make?
Yeah, a lot of times people bring people into their community and they do a really nice job in their book on the subject that are on, and they add QR codes and calls to actions within the book itself. Like, if you find this interesting, you'd like to learn more, go to this page, and there could be a workbook, or there could be some other bonus material that they receive for going online from the book. And then that draws them into, the whole community or the offering and gets them involved. Oftentimes, it's a free offer to put them subscriber into the author's email list, and from there they can nurture people into further into their community and or product set.
That's awesome. And so they
Yeah.
might have consulting services, they might have a course, they might have a some kind of a subscriber model, so they know that, every 10% of people who buy their book might end up paying them more money for something else. And when you start to work out the math, it's worth it even to lose a little bit of money on the sale of that book through ads.
Oh yeah. In fact, just to take it even beyond ads, we have a program that's called event reader seeding.
Okay.
And what we mean by that is our philosophy with our authors is we want to seed the market. In other words, get books in the hands of real readers, whether they buy it or we give it to them. People who really are looking for their book, looking for their solution, and things of that nature. And we'll actually go out and like I just worked with an author today. He has a book that is on education and educational reform type of matters, and he's a consultant in this area, and he has a process and a system that school districts will purchase for his consulting services to help them implement what he does.
Mm,
And we're basically going to go out and look for events where school board influencers, decision makers, principals, and school administrators would be attending, which are thousands of them,
mm,
small and large. And we broker a program with the event planner where we actually give the book away.
mm,
And so this is costing him, printing, shipping, and our fee anywhere from $15 to $25 per book. So he's not
mm.
making that money. It's costing him that much, but he's getting the book in the hands of people that can then turn around and potentially become a customer worth tens of thousands of dollars to him.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
I mean, this is great, and where I'm going in my head with this is, if you have something like this, if you have a speaking business where being number one in a category
Right.
helps you get more speeds, if you're like this gentleman and you have ways to earn tens of thousands of dollars off of someone who likes your book, that's fabulous. What about what about other authors who maybe don't have those things, especially fiction? I would say, when you're running Amazon ads where all you really have is royalties. You don't have a way to upsell outside of your book.
Right.
What have you seen for Amazon ads there?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, fiction is a completely different animal because there that unless you just it's a passion product, and we do have some authors who are just passionate about getting their book out there,
Right.
but the vast majority of your fiction authors they're in it for the profit, and they want to write and they want writing to be either supplement their income or be their income, and fiction is we've found that there's a formula that works really really well. But you kind of have to fit into this formula. And that formula is you have to, one, have a series.
Okay.
So at least three books, better if you have five. Seven is or nine is ideal. And then also, what's really important for Amazon ads to work most effectively is if you're in Kindle Unlimited. And there's,
Okay.
controversy whether people want to do that or not. But if you're going to go down the path of really running Amazon ads and trying to make money with fiction, I would highly recommend that you go into Kindle Unlimited with a series. And that's where you basically just drive readers into that first book of the series and capture them. And then you watch the read through and the follow on lifetime value for the
Mm,
reader.
mm,
And we have author clients that are making literally tens of thousands of dollars a month on very successful series. And there's other authors I'm aware of out there who are making very big money. Of course, you have to have a great book and a great series, and they're doing
yeah,
a lot of
that
other
goes
things
without saying,
too.
right?
They're
Yeah.
doing a lot of other things too. They've got their community, they've got their newsletter, they've got their, readers, but they're supplementing it with Amazon ads. And what they look to us or their own ad campaigns to do is to help them fill that funnel with new readers. So they've got the people already on their subscriber list and things like that. So those people are anxiously waiting for their next book. They need to find more readers who love the genre, and that's where you go out and again, keyword search, keywords, comparable titles, and searching for that. It's also a place where oftentimes the Facebook and Meta is an effective way to promote those fiction books and bring them into the series as well. And
Right.
again, you're not making money. You're probably losing money on some ads for that first book, second book, but then you're looking at the long tail and the overall read through on Kindle Unlimited and the sales of the follow-on books to really get the lifetime value of what your reader looks like,
Mm.
and it can be quite lucrative.
Yeah, I mean, once you put it that way, the math starts to look pretty good, right?
Yeah,
The math
compounds.
on one
Yeah,
book, the math doesn't look so good, right?
right.
You might lose $5 or $10 just to get a sale. You might be
Exactly.
spending far more than you're making, but if you've got 7 books and you
Yeah,
know that if you can get someone to buy your first book, they've got a 50% chance of reading through your series, right?
exactly. And that's
You're
exactly
going
the
to make a
number we're
lot
looking
of
for.
money.
We're
Yeah,
looking for what's your read-through percentage? Oh, for
right.
book one to two, we've got 80%. From two to three, it's 70%. Those are huge numbers when you start really feeding that funnel. We see the same halo effect with nonfiction. Somebody has a lead nonfiction book that brings people into getting to know that author, and then they have follow-on complementary books. The one lead book helps a halo effect and sells the other books too, and it also lifts up organically with the Amazon algorithm,
Mm.
recommending those books organically more frequently as well.
So would you say, I mean, I don't mean to paint, to make you do too definitive an answer here, but
Yeah,
would you say that if you're a nonfiction author and you don't have a way to monetize beyond
yeah.
a sale of your book, and if you're a fiction author and you only have one book, you don't have a series, should you wait to do Amazon ads until you've developed something like that?
Um, I'm going to say no, and
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. You should at least try Amazon ads. And I'm not saying you should retain somebody like ourselves or something like that, where there's going to be, a huge management fee or even a small management fee for that matter.
Hmm.
It's going to be costly. But even running a small basic campaign on your own, which is doable, just to keep your book alive and have Amazon recognize it so it doesn't just completely fall off the radar. I think it's worth trying. And I think you
Mm.
should, I would, I talk to a lot of authors, many authors just not ready for our services because they don't have enough reviews, their cover's not right. There's all kinds of different things that companies like yours help others prevent making those mistakes by getting all those elements right because you want to be right out of the gate with a good looking book and all the
Yeah.
metadata and all the foundation that goes into writing a book that catches a lot of people off guard when they think, oh, I just got to write a good book. No, there's a lot more to it, and that's why people like you exist.
Hmm.
But I really feel strongly that running just budgeting and say like I'm going to put $500, $1,000 in Amazon ads for the first 6 months and run a small, modest campaign just to find readers and bring them into the book, that could help you in the long run, and perhaps get some momentum and also supplement anything you're doing outside of Amazon ads, like podcast or blogging or interviews or media. All those things can holistically, keep the book going, especially if you also have a good program in place to keep ratings and reviews coming in.
Right.
So but the likelihood of you breaking even is slim. But you know what? You'll make some money back. And the other cool thing about Amazon ads is I think is one of the best things. whether you lose money or make money, you know what your ad dollars did for you. And you
Hmm.
don't get that with a lot of other advertising and promotional vehicles.
Right. That's one thing I like about that as well. And just to expand on that a little bit, with an Amazon, if you do a Google ad, for instance, so an ad for your book shows up in a Google search,
Hmm.
you can track the clicks and then through some sophisticated processes, even potentially find out if that resulted in a sale. But
Converts, right?
the data is hard to get and it's pretty fuzzy.
Yep.
Whereas with Amazon, it'll tell you exactly how many sales you got from the amount of money you spent, right?
You can, and the beauty of it too is it is incredibly granular as well. You can drill down and find out exactly which keyword search terms are driving the most impression, the most clicks, and the most conversions, and
Hmm.
then you can add more budget to those. And that's the kind of services that we provide as an agency doing that work. It's very doable, but it's not easy and it's not intuitive. It's
Right.
and if you don't like spreadsheets, you don't want to do that at all.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, leave it to the book nerds, right?
Exactly. You
Unless
know,
you
I,
are one yourself.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We have clients that are, CPAs and former CFOs or existing CFOs that, that they live in that world. And we explain it to them. They go, "Oh yeah, I see exactly what's going on here." And he goes, "And I don't want to have the time to figure this out and do it right.
Hmm.
You guys do it."
Hmm.
It's certainly all doable. And
Yeah.
for the independent author who just wants to dabble in it, there's something called an automatic campaign, which is so simple to set up. It's basically you tell Amazon, "Here's my book, and I've worked with Joel and Sadie and the team, and they've got my metadata right, and everything looks right. So Amazon understands what this book is for and who's it for, and readers are giving it ratings and reviews. I'm going to just set an auto campaign. I'm going to spend $300 a month, about $10 a day, and I'm going to let Amazon find readers for it." And you know what? I put books on. I've had friends who I've said like, here's what you do, and they haven't broken even on royalties, but they've broken even on ad spend for sales.
Mm.
Running auto campaigns. So it's costing them. They spend 300 and they make 200 in royalties. It's costing them $100 a month, but it's also
Yep.
lifting their overall sales. So
Right.
there's something there to give it a try, if nothing else.
That's awesome. That's great advice.
Hmm.
And one thing you've mentioned this a couple times, and I think it's worth just highlighting. If you do dabble in Amazon ads, it's really important to understand the numbers you're looking at. And so
Hmm.
Amazon is going to report the effectiveness of your campaign in terms of just total retail dollars. So
Right.
if you spend $50 and you sell 10 books and your books cost $15,
Right.
right? You're gonna $10 times 10 books times 15, you're gonna get $150, right?
Correct. Right.
From the
Right.
$50 you spent. So you're like,
Right.
yeah, I crushed it. $100 profit. Not
Exactly.
so
But
fast.
no, right, right.
As anybody who knows, if you're self-publishing your title, you're going to be making 60% of retail
Hmm.
minus your printing costs. So Amazon's going to take 40 off the top, then you get that remaining 60 minus your printing costs. So on a $15 book, you're probably going to be making more like 6 or $7, right?
Exactly.
And
Hmm.
so if you spent $50, that's 60 or $70. And if you spent 50 to get that, so
Now you've made
it's
$10. Yeah.
exactly. So it's important to know what percentage of your retail you're actually receiving when you're
Absolutely.
calculating your campaigns.
Absolutely. It's great if you hit that number, that's a great sign. That means you've got something that is popular and is working, it's resonating. But you're absolutely right. You got to take the math to the next level to really see exactly where you are in terms of profit loss.
That's cool.
Hmm.
Well, Steve, I mean, we've covered a lot here. This has been super useful. And again, if people have enjoyed this, please subscribe to the podcast and share it. You can subscribe on all the platforms where you can engage with us. One thing I like to ask people on this show, we're brand new show. We're called If
Yeah.
I'm Being Honest. So I always like to ask you, what is if you're being honest about something
Yeah.
about Amazon ads, what's that thing? What's that kind of maybe not quite sure you want to be that honest, but what do people need to know? What's the kind of honest, straight take on Amazon ads from your perspective?
The honest straight take is it's really hard to make money with them. There's no
Hmm.
doubt about that. And it's not easy, but and depending on your goals, it's worth giving it a try. And my other thing being honest is as an author myself, I cannot believe and I don't have to say this to your audience, they know it themselves, how much stuff you get inbound, pitching different ideas and things of that nature. I'd be very skeptical and very wary of a lot of things that are out there in the book world, and really do your due diligence and ask for references and testimonials. I think it's really, really important.
That's great. I love
Yeah.
that advice. And I thank you for doing that. I
Mhm.
think that's one of the missions of this show is that I think in all aspects of book publishing and promotion, there's people are being inundated
Yeah.
with a lot of false promises and inflated expectations and sometimes downright lies. So we like bringing in people like you who can tell people, we're not trying to create pessimism or skepticism.
Right.
You can succeed at doing this, but you always want to start from a point of reality.
Can I take you on a quick tangent on being
Of
honest
course.
too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
So this is kind of fun because if you were talking to me speaking specifically of nonfiction authors right now, a year ago, and you said, Steve, be honest, how important is Goodreads to a nonfiction author? I would have said you should have your profile, and you should have it fleshed out, and you should just be present there, and then really not worry about it, set it and forget it. It's not that critical to a nonfiction author.
Okay.
You ask me that today, the world has changed considerably.
Okay.
Two things have happened. One, Amazon is integrating and incorporating Goodreads into the Amazon shopping experience more and more. In fact, just in January last month, Audible implemented and integrated the Goodreads Want to Read shelf into Audible members' libraries. So they can quickly see, well, what's on my Goodreads Want to Read shelf to listen to next.
Hmm.
And they'll see it, and it just makes it that much less friction and that much of a more powerful point of purchase opportunity, which didn't exist a year ago. So that's number one reason why Goodreads is more important. But number
And so
two,
just to
uh-huh,
clarify on that, that
yeah.
means you want to have a lot of reviews on Goodreads that show up on your Amazon profile by book page, regardless of the format.
Yep, the reviews and ratings are incorporated, which is another conversion point of metrics, and people, trust Goodreads reviews more than
Hmm.
Amazon in some cases.
Hmm.
But even beyond that, in the actual shopping experience, like if you're on Audible and you're like, what's my next book? Oh, this is my Goodreads want to read list is integrated in Audible now. Let me look at that. So I don't have
Hmm.
to go to Goodreads and look at my list. It's already in Audible.
Hmm.
So it's just really reduced the friction in terms of, the opportunity for somebody to listen or buy a book. So that's important. But perhaps even more important is that all of the artificial intelligence large language models utilize Goodreads data because it's open, whereas a lot of the other Amazon data is not. But the Goodreads data is much more open to the large language models. And it's a primary source of data for ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, and all the others.
Interesting.
And so if you have a more fleshed out, more ratings, more reviews, more want to reads, and just more activity on Goodreads for your book, you're going to have a leg up when somebody types into ChatGPT and says, give me a good recommendation for a book on this subject. Or they even take a photo of the books on their bookshelf and say, what's another book that's like this that I should read? And
Hmm.
ChatGPT will come back with recommendations. They're going to look at a lot of stuff, not just Goodreads, but Goodreads is
Hmm.
going to be something one of the major components of their decision on their recommendation. So that's just another thing I thought was worth mentioning. We
Oh,
could
that's
do a whole
super
show on
interesting. Now,
Goodreads
now, now
sometime
you want
too.
to make. Now you're getting me thinking. I love it. I love it.
So didn't used to be as important, but now it's more important than ever to optimize not just your Amazon presence, which I saw Sadie's session that she did on your show, which was outstanding in terms. I highly recommend watching her recent video on all the different things that are really important to help you optimize your Amazon presence, which is really critical. Paying attention to metadata,
Hmm.
categories, and things of that nature,
Hmm.
and doing so on Goodreads now is important as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Well, great, Steve. I mean, it's been wonderful talking to you. Where can people find out more about your company and what you have to offer?
You bet, Charles. Yeah, so you can find us at getshelflife.com, and we have a book on Amazon called Before the Bestseller.
Hmm.
In fact, anybody that sees this and on your show or any of your clients, Joel, just have them send me an email with their name and address, and we'll be happy to ship a copy for free. That's one of our ways of getting our word out. That's our own book seeding thing.
Oh, awesome.
We've given away over 2,000 copies to authors in the last year, and we a lot of people find a lot of value from it, and a lot of ideas in there. So we welcome people to give us a holler there, or find us at getshelflife.com.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And we'll include all that information in the notes and everything. So,
Excellent.
Steve, thanks for being on the show with us. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation.
Likewise, Joel. We'll see you at the next conference, maybe in person. It'd be great.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah, for
right.
sure. All right,
Thanks so
bye.
much. Bye bye.